Okay, now that you understand how to thread and knot a needle, we are going to do some practice sewing. So I'm just going to review the steps to thread your needle so you can see those one more time. I hold my needle, put the needle threader or the piece of cardboard through the eye of the needle, take my thread, pull it through a little way just so there's a tail, holding the needle and the needle threader. Gently tug that thread through the eye of the needle until the tail comes out the other side. Now I am going to show you a way to knot your thread that might make sewing a little less frustrating. In the first video, I told you to just leave a little bit of a tail showing. This technique has you tie both ends of your thread together. So you need to get the needle on the thread right in the center so that your two ends line up evenly. So I would have the needle going through the eye, and I'd come down and match up my two ends so that they are even. Then I'm going to create that loop with my finger and bring the tail around the back side and through the loop to pop that balloon. And then pull tight. You need to have a knot at the end of your thread so that the thread doesn't go through the fabric. Then you'll be getting a piece of felt, rectangle or square, something like this. And using your pencil, I want you to draw on some lines that you're going to use to practice on. So you can give yourself a straight line, a zigzag line, how about a curve? And let's do one more straight line. Then you're going to take your needle, and on the back side of your felt, starting at the end of the line, you're going to poke through from the back to the front. Then pull your needle all the way through. I try to keep the thread going through my fingers so it doesn't get all tangled up, because that can be very frustrating. And I'm tugging tight until the knot is on the back flush with the felt. Then I'm going to create a stitch. So I'm going to go down just a little way, poke through, and pull that thread through until it becomes tight. And again, you might have to hold your hand in here to keep that thread from getting all bunched up. Now, I want to try to get my stitches even. So with the point of my needle, starting on the back side, because that's where the thread came from, I'm going to poke the tip of the needle through and pull. And now I'm going to kind of guess at the length of this so that I can get a stitch that is the same length. So I'm going to push through. And pull tight. You'll continue until you get to the end of the line. One thing you want to make sure to do is not pull too tightly. Once I get my thread through, I want it to be flush or even with the felt. But if I yank on it really hard, it'll gather the felt like this. No bueno. You want to pull just firm enough so that you get a nice, flat, even stitch. Now I've gotten to the end of my line. You always need to make sure that when you're finishing your stitch, your last stitch went out the back side. Then I can turn this over and I need to create a knot. With the tip or the pointy end of your needle, you're going to go back underneath the last stitch you made. So I'm going to slide that needle right underneath that stitch, like so. Pull through. And when you get just a little loop, like when you were knotting your needle in the beginning, take the tip and pop that balloon. I'm tying a knot tight so the knot is right up against or flush with my felt. Now I'm going to do this twice. You always want to do it twice to make sure you have it secured. So I'm going to go under that last stitch again, pull it through until I have just a little bit of a loop, come around the back side of that loop, pop my balloon, and trim the end. Now I have a beautiful stitched line. Then you can start the process a second time for your next line. So what you'll do is tie that knot, pop the balloon, pull tight, and this time I'm going to go down to this line, or you can start on your zigzag.